What's up, YouTube? It's Eric, your favorite preservation evoker, and today I wanted to talk to you about single target healing. So, single target healing is something that I see getting thrown around a lot as the biggest weakness of our class. People say that we can't do it well. People are afraid to invite us to a temple just because they're afraid that we will not be able to carry on the third boss. I wanted to dispel that a little bit and kind of show you some of the single target healing techniques that I have kind of figured out and learned. And what I am finding is that we actually have very, very powerful single target burst healing. We don't have very powerful single target sustain. That is an entirely other story. But we do have incredibly powerful single target options. Much like everything else with Evoker, you just kind of have to know how to get there. So before we get too deep into it, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Like my channel if you like healing content, if you like Evoker content, or if you just like Mythic Plus content in general. And without further ado, I wanted to jump straight into Liu Flameheart as a case study and show you how you should heal this boss. Because you might have lost a tank here before, and I don't want you to have to ever go through that again. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop over. Ding. So yeah, I have here brought up a VOD. This was a 24 tyrannical. Of course, you want to look at, I think, tyrannical bosses when you are kind of going through the motions of learning how to heal it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and take a quick look. Let me see if I can get my plugin to work. Boom, there we go. It actually works this time. All right, so here you have it. Here we are at Liu Flameheart. So let's go ahead and start actually at the beginning of this encounter. Not the beginning of the dungeon, ideally.
Talents for this fight.
And here she is. So leading off when you start this fight, I'll just start at like the very, very beginning, just so that you can get a full picture of the entire fight and not just the part that is hard. The first thing you're going to be looking for is obviously she's doing lots and lots of damage to your tank. Everyone else is pretty safe. First thing you're going to be looking for is this Serpent Strike. She will do this multiple times. If you have a warrior tank, your warrior tank can actually reflect the first Serpent Strike, and then not the second one, but then the third one, and can reflect effectively every other Serpent Strike. So you want to make sure that your warrior knows to do that. As you can see here, our warrior reflects the first one. He does not get a debuff. And immediately following that Serpent Strike, we're going to get a Serpent Kick, which is going to put a circle on the ground. And it is going to send little flaming walls that shoot out. These will kill you on a tyrannical key, so do not get hit by them. It is very important that you are looking at these walls and that you're that is the first thing you do each time that the circle comes out is find the wall. That is critically important. So this second one, our warrior will not be able to reflect. A will get a debuff. A and B drop down pretty low. And so what we will do is just dispel that debuff, top our warrior, and continue. And this first phase is just rinse and repeat. There'll be a Serpent Strike, which will put a dispellable debuff. Your warrior can reflect every other one. Following the Serpent Strike, there will be a Serpent Kick. And this will happen. This happens over and over. So next is kind of when we get in, this next phase is when we will get into a case study of what it means to be a single target healer. And how you can actually min-max your single target healing just to absolutely carry this fight or any other encounter where there's just a lot of heavy single target healing. There's actually not a lot of heavy single target healing in this particular set of dungeons. Outside of in this dungeon and of course Knock Defensive, some of that early trash, there's a lot of single target healing. And it's very important that you are able to keep a couple things in mind when you are doing these kinds of things. So first things first, if you are expecting a lot of heavy single target damage, um, that is going to come out on particular players, it is perfectly okay to send your cooldowns to do single target healing. If you do need those cooldowns for massive AoE damage that is to come, it can become a little bit more challenging. That said, there are not very many places in this current pool of dungeons where there is massive single target healing and then immediately after massive AoE healing. Usually the single target healing that happens is something like, for instance, in Ruby Life Pools, you have the elementals who will put a massive dot on someone. It's very painful. It explodes. They get dropped low. and then there's like big AoE after that. So in those contexts, those people are pretty safe with just like an echo into you can go stasis, burn embrace that person, put a dream breath on everyone, then the big AoE comes out and you can spirit bloom. Right. It's like fairly straightforward. There's nothing really to that. Um that said, in these moments where there is just giga high single target healing checks, it is really important that you are sending your cooldowns into these. And why wouldn't you? We are, of course, a cooldown based class. I think one of the things that I see the most when I'm watching other people play this class, one of the biggest errors and issues that I see is people are very reluctant to send their cooldowns to heal a single target person. So let me just go ahead and remind you that rewind is a single target heal if you want it to be. Tip the scales, Spirit Bloom is a single target immediate emergency heal if you need it to be. Stasis can be turned into a powerful single target healing spell if you need it to do that. And that's exactly what we're going to do on this fight is we are going to use all of our buttons to do single target healing. I would definitely encourage everyone to just ship it. If you're ever in doubt, if someone is gonna die, don't think to yourself, "Oh, I might need this rewind for like something that's coming." Like, what is the thing that's coming? If there's not a specific thing that you have to have that rewind for coming up in the next like 3 minutes, then just use it. Send it as a single target heal. You won't regret it. So yeah. What you'll see here is we are going to go into the green phase, and I immediately, for the Jade Serpent Strike, I go into a stasis, and here's what you'll see me do. You'll see me Verdant Embrace into Tip the Scale Spirit Bloom, and then Dream Breath. I'm doing my stasis ramp, yes, for one person. That is perfectly acceptable. If someone is taking massive damage, you can send your cooldowns to heal one single solitary person, and it is totally okay. That is one of the hardest things to learn. So what we'll do is we'll Verdant Embrace, we will Tip the Scale Spirit Bloom, and we will Dream Breath as soon as we dodge. Our tank was getting utterly plastered. It's a 24 tyrannical. This boss like really slaps tanks. So yeah, then we'll just kind of spend some time topping our tank up. We have some maintenance. And here comes the next one. So we're gonna go ahead and echo and then release stasis. And boom, our tank is alive again. Here comes the next one. And for this next one, we're going to echo. We're gonna embrace ourselves for lifeline. And then press Emerald Communion. And as you can see, perfectly safe once more. And now here's where I make a slight mistake. It pays off and it's totally fine. But I forget that in my back pocket, I have a rewind. In previous times I've done this dungeon, I always send the rewind at some point or another. I think I just felt very confident that the tank would be okay. I've also am planning on pressing my I'm planning on pressing my stagger on the tank here. So I think in my head I'm just like, ah, he's fine, it does not matter. So yeah, I go ahead and I stagger the tank, I Verdant Embrace, and I go for a Spirit Bloom. Actually runs away. It's a little bit of a problem. Don't end up needing to cast a Spirit Bloom. Um, that said, we could have rewound that instead of staggering. So here was another great opportunity where I could have rewound. Instead, I go ahead and I put a Echo, I Verdant Embrace, and I Spirit Bloom. And that is just good enough. I definitely should have rewound this last one. Um, but yeah, that is a slight mistake. All's well that ends well, though. We do end up killing the boss. On this last one, we actually have our monk tank taunt. Just because the tank is completely out of defensives and he's afraid that he's going to die. What we actually could have done is rally plus rewind here, without needing the monk tank to taunts, and I think that would have been the better solution. Again, though, like all hindsight is always going to be 2020. I still could have rewound for the monk here. I'm not using rewind for the next 3 minutes, so this is definitely a gameplay error. It's important that we point out the things that work as well as the shortcomings that we might have. But yeah, all's well that ends well. We do get through the phase, and of course, dispel hopefully some of the myth that we do not have single target healing. So if you're gonna walk away from one thing, if you're gonna walk away from this video with one tip, I'd like that to be that it is perfectly okay to send your cooldowns to heal someone in single target situations. It is perfectly acceptable to press rewind as a single target heal. Let's say a cast goes off and someone gets dropped to 10% health, and shortly after that, there's going to be like AoE damage that comes out. You can press rewind just to top that single person and then charge a Spirit Bloom into the AoE. Rewind is a highly versatile button, and you do not always have to use it to its maximum potential. It's obviously very powerful into things like the last boss of Ruby, where you get a flame spit and like everyone takes massive damage. They're definitely going to die. You can rewind and just save the day. That is that spell at its maximum potential. That said, it is also a powerful single target heal. Again, I just cannot stress this enough. I will say it 50 times in this video if I have to. I would love for that to sink in. You can send stasis as a single target heal. You can send Spirit Bloom as a single target heal. You can send Rewind as a single target heal. There are so many different options that you have out there that are just incredibly powerful. So that aside, and this boss aside, I did want to talk very briefly as well about one other little kind of a rotational thing that you can be doing to highly improve your single target healing, and that is to be fishing for these 4 set procs. As you can see, we just had one there. I sent it, of course, for damage by having echo reversions and then using those 4 set procs simply to heal. Um, so just in terms of like single target maintenance healing, we're kind of looking at effectively the same thing over and over again. And let's see if we get any iterations here. So for our maintenance healing, you see like our tank drops here, our druid drops here as well. I'm gonna go echo and then reversion. That's our filler. Our tank drops echo and then we reversion. And as we're doing this, what you'll find is you get these 4 set procs, like I have here, and you can use those 4 set procs to just heal somebody. Let's say someone gets dropped to 60% there and I have a 4 set proc. I can just go ahead and send the 4 set proc for healing. It's very, very, very powerful. And something else that you should never forget about when we're talking about our single target healing profile. We are definitely very, very weird in terms of the way that we do single target healing, but I think that we're actually quite powerful. We might not be resto druid levels of single target powerful, but that said, we do have a lot of powerful options we could reach for. And let me tell you, when you have a 4 set proc and someone has an echo reversion on them and you send that 4 set proc into them, it is a powerful heal. It is a really, really, really strong heal. And they have the 2 hots rolling on them. It's kind of a situation where you're just building a castle out of matches. So yeah, let's go back over to our hanging out screen. I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter and sweeter, just a little bit more to the point. Some of my other videos are very, very long, and some people have been requesting like a little bit more digestible, short content. So yeah, I wanted to just go ahead and talk a little bit about the single target healing and a little bit about that boss in particular, kind of using it as a case study. That said, I will be doing lots more dungeon guides, and those are coming out very soon. I have a whole series planned on raid bosses, which is also coming out very soon. If you're excited about the future of this channel, make sure that you're definitely subscribed. If you just like silliness in general, make sure that you are subscribed. That you click the like button, which is on your screen, definitely. And yeah, I hope that you'll also come and see me on Twitch. You can find me right now probably at twitch.tv/eyelash TV. I hope to get a chance to talk to you and meet you. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Until next time, stay dragony, I guess, or something.